Okay, so today we're going to talk about some other definitions. During class today we talked about standard position angles, and tonight we're going to talk about coterminal angles. And coterminal angles are, as their definition implies, that the word terminal means ending or ending side, and so angles that are coterminal are angles in standard position that have the same terminal side. Okay, so just a reminder, standard position means that you have the vertex at the origin and the initial side is on the positive x-axis. Okay, so let's say that we have an angle that measures 120 degrees. An angle that would be coterminal with it could be an angle that goes negative. So negative 240 degrees would be coterminal with 120. The other possibility is that it could be an angle that went all the way around and came back to 120. So we have 120 plus one full rotation, which would be 360. So that would give us an angle of 480 degrees. Okay. So you have infinitely many possibilities for coterminal angles. You could have negative angles, you could have positive angles, and typically what you would do is you could add or subtract 360 or multiples of 360 to find all of those potential angles that are coterminal. Okay, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and try A, B, and C for tomorrow, to have those prepared so we can discuss. Try to find both a positive and a negative angle that are coterminal with the given ones. So 65, 410, and negative 120. Okay, and then we're going to talk about one more definition, which is for a reference angle. And I would suggest that in some way you highlight or circle or star. Reference angles are really important. So remember I said that you needed to know like 5 different things to be really good at trig. The first one being the special right triangles, the second being adding and subtracting from 180 and 360, which is what we're going to talk about today. And so the reference angle is another important thing that you'll need to know. So given an angle in standard position, okay, a reference angle is the positive acute angle formed by the x-axis and the terminal side of the angle theta. Okay, so really important words that I sort of underlined and highlighted. A reference angle is the positive acute angle formed by the x-axis and the terminal side of an angle theta. So if we take a look at an angle in standard position, again, vertex at the origin, initial side on the positive x-axis, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and draw an angle, and we'll draw it into the second quadrant, and we'll say that this angle has measure 135 degrees. The reference angle is the positive acute angle formed by the x-axis, and it doesn't matter if it's the x-axis positive or negative side, formed by the x-axis and the terminal side. Remember, the terminal side is this ending side. Okay, so we have this angle here that's formed is what we would call the reference angle. Now, how do we find what that reference angle is? We use what we know about geometry. So we have our straight line angle. This means this angle is 180 degrees. So this is a straight line angle, right? And it has a measure of 180. We know this measures 135 degrees, our angle in standard position. So to find my reference angle, I would take my 180 degrees and subtract the 135, which means that I have a reference angle that is 45 degrees. So right in here, that would be 45-degree reference angle. Okay, it meets all the requirements. It's positive, it's acute, less than 90, and it's formed by the x-axis and the terminal side. Okay, I'm going to ask you to try and complete A, B, and C on the next page, finding the measure of each of the reference angles or the reference angles for the given values, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Have a great night.